Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I have a new video for you guys today. We have a 3-gamer in the association, but before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like on the video, man. It'll greatly help me out. And if you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, I've never ever seen any of my videos before. I did over 340 videos and within a year's time here on YouTube. The only thing you need to do to become a part of the community and be able to have access to videos and be able to have part of the discussion and be a part of the community here is to become a subscriber to the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. You do so down below before you go. And of course, don't forget to put on your post notifications. This way you don't miss out on any one of those videos when they are posted. With that pretty much being said, today is Thursday. It is October the 24th. 2019, and again, like I said, we have a 3-gamer today, and pretty much a couple of pieces of news. One is next week at some time, I started mentioning that yesterday, starting next week I will be doing some live streaming. That live stream is going to be Monday to Friday type of thing for at least 45 minutes to an hour to begin with on twitch.tv/DFS Zone. So if you don't have an account with Twitch, you're not a gamer, you're not into watching podcasts or whatever, you don't have to pay anything to be on Twitch. You just open up an account. Make sure you go down and take a look at DFS Zone, become a follower, and then, of course, put on the notifications there as well. And when that video goes up or when I go live, you're going to be able to attend that video. Now, I plan to do those Monday to Friday, like I said. Don't know which day I'm going to start next week, and I don't know what time, but I know it's going to be in the morning. It's going to be either sometime between 10 and 11 or 10:30 to 11:30, something like that. And if there's enough interest, enough followers, enough people to come in and actually join the community and join the discussion on a daily basis, I will be more than happy to open that up to about an hour and a half being live. And I think it's a great way. I've done it before with YouTube as far as some live shows here and there, and I will do some on YouTube as well. And there may be some time down the line where I'll go live on both platforms at the same time, YouTube with Twitch TV. But I'm going to be on Twitch TV starting sometime next week, so make sure you come on down and join the discussion. Other than that, I do plan to have a giveaway. I mentioned yesterday I'm going to have a giveaway every week on Sunday. I'm going to draw out of the people that drop likes. So you have to drop a like. You have to comment down below, discuss anything about the slate, anything you want to really say. No problem. I'm going to put you on that list for Sunday. I'm going to do a drawing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away a lineup every day for 1 week for 7 straight days. You're going to get a lineup with that you can use the Soul Choose totally free just to help you guys out, and that's my way of telling you guys thank you for being a part of the community here on YouTube. And that will begin starting this Sunday. The drawing will begin. So again, make sure that you drop a like, you comment down below, and make sure that you are a subscriber, because I will check to see if you are. I know some of you already because you've been with me for a while, but if you happen to be a new person who just come in, first time seeing a video, want to be a part of that drawing, make sure that you do that. And then of course on Monday you will start with getting your lineups. Okay, that's pretty much it, I believe. Yeah, all right. So let me recap. Yesterday, I gave you guys some guys. I like to go over the recaps. I know I'm just going to give you picks. Another thing that I want to mention is that I plan to do the YouTube videos. I mentioned that yesterday. My videos usually in the past were 25 minutes on average or longer. I intend to keep them at 15 minutes or less, or if give or take, maybe like today it might be just a little bit longer, 16, 17 minutes. But I'm going to try to keep them under 15 minutes. A little bit better for me, also a little better for you guys to watch. And that's basically it. So recap last night. Yesterday on Fandeul, I kind of gave you guys Brogdon, Beal, Oubre, Porzingis, and Drummond. Obviously, Drummond was the key dog last night, putting up 81.6 fantasy points. Brogdon had a good night at 43.1. At the beginning, I was like, whoa, the guy's not helping me out. It's almost halftime, and the guy only had like 15 fantasy points. I was like really bummed out, but he finished up with 43. Beal had a rough shooting night. Beal, I mean, he took about 33 shots. He shot, I think, 20 from the floor and 11 from, so he took 31 shots. I know he shot 11 threes and he only hit 1. And I think he was 7 of 20 or 6 of 20 or something from the floor. I mean, he was really bad shooting from him. He had some open looks. I popped into the game back and forth because of the league pass. But nonetheless, it was just a bad shooting night for Beal. If he would have hit those baskets, he would have crushed like I had anticipated. But again, this is why, folks, as fans and as fantasy players, we got to understand, man. This is why the game's got to be played. You know, perfect scenario, look at the World Series. You got the Washington Nationals that won only about 92 or 93 games was a wild card and is on the verge of just 2 games away from winning the World Series. I know it's a different sport, but again, I want you to realize that any given day, any given time, anything can happen. The Nationals are playing well, and that's the reason why they're going to probably beat the best team in baseball and the second best team in baseball back-to-back, as after beating the Dodgers. Now, who won 106 games, I think it was. Now they're on the verge of beating the Houston Astros. So again, this is why you play the games. You never know. So again, so Beal had a rough night shooting, and that's, again, the beauty about fantasy sports and about team sports or an athlete in general is that they get to go out there and do it again all over again, possibly in the next day or two. So Beal will have a second time. He's going to have 81 more games to prove himself, and we know he's going to have better nights than he did last night. But 46.7 fantasy points, not too shabby. He was only off by about 1.5 points from value, so I'm okay with the 46.7, but it would have been nice for him to shoot better and get 60-65 on the night. Oubre, only 5,500. He put up 40.3 fantasy points on Fandeul. That's a positive 13 from more or less. So he definitely met value and then some. Porzingis was definitely a bummer. Didn't shoot particularly well. It wasn't on the court as much as I thought. 32.8 fantasy points. He was a -7, so he was a dud. But Drummond, really did it. Positive 30. He was $10,100, and he needed to put up 50, 51, and he put up 81.6, so that was a positive 3. My best lineup last night was 334.1. In that particular lineup, I had Garland, Sanderansky, who had a poor night. Garland was not that good as well, but Beal, Mitchell had an awesome game for Utah. Oubre, Kennard. I had Marcus Morris of the Knicks, who did much way better than Markieff did. Bagley, and then I had also Drummond. That gave me a 334.1. I also had a 325 in the Express slate, and I finished 44th in that one. I had 2 lineups. The other one finished like 60-something, so it was pretty good. I had Doncic there with Forbes, Beal. I had Barrett of the Knicks, Finney-Smith, Gay, Porzingis, Julius Randle, and Bobby Portis of the Knickerbockers. That was a 3-game slate right in the middle of it. It was that 8:30 start. That one I finished 44th. At one time I was like 20th, and I said, hey, you know what, maybe I have a shot. But the difference for me is that I had Forbes. The people that won up front had DeJounte Murray, and he had a better game. And then on top of that, I had Finney-Smith, and a lot of people had Harrison Barnes. So that was the killer. Just those 2 guys kept me away from about 13 points from the top, and possibly $5,000, which was the top prize. So that wasn't that. So not a bad night. I made my money back, and I made a profit. So not too bad for me, but it would have been nice to make a few $1,000s, and that's what we're all aiming for, right? So we're going to try to go at that again. So that was my recap from last night. All right, tonight, man, let's get right to this. Again, I'm going to give you 5 possible plays here that you can utilize on Fandeul or DraftKings, either way, either cash play or GPP. Looking at the slate, first things first is a 3-game slate. Everybody know by now here, you probably hear it in other channels as well. I mean, granted, 3 games, everybody's available, whoever's healthy. It's all a matter of, we got to figure out what the rotations are right now, but we know more or less some of the better teams, who they're going to play and who's going to come off the bench. So we have a general idea. It is a new season. We are still looking at numbers and statistics from last year. I do it. I'm sure a lot of you do the same thing, and it's quite all right. But you also have to look at sometimes, how the slate pans out, who may be more popular or more highly owned. So if we look at the top, we have a lot of studs today. We have Giannis, we have Harden, we have Steph, and Drummond, who had a fantastic game last night, Russell Westbrook, and Kawhi Leonard. So it's a lot of guys on the table. I personally feel today you can go a lot of different ways. Any one of these guys will work, guys. I'm not going to beat around the bush. There's no doubt about it. It's even tough for me right now at almost 12 o'clock in the afternoon here in New York time. I'm not too sure which way to really go, but my mindset is thinking a couple of different ways. So we'll go right to the top. We're going to go right to point guard. And for me, I mean, it's either I'm paying up for Curry or I'm paying up for Westbrook, or I'm coming down and paying up for either Young or Bledsoe. But when you look at Young and Bledsoe at 7,000, Bledsoe might not be a bad play. I know he's a little banged up with the ribs, but he should be 100% healthy. He could be a sneaky play here at 7,000. He's not going to be pretty popular, but then again, some people might be like, hey, nope, it's all a matter of, all right, people thinking and say, well, I'm thinking Steph Curry out of the 2 at the top, with Westbrook and Curry, I think that's going to be the more popular player, at least fantasy-wise, will more than likely be Curry tonight, being at home. And he is the face of the team right now. He is the guy, while Westbrook is now not the face of OKC anymore. He's now with Houston, and he's on James Harden's team. So James is the lead guy, and I would think Russell is pretty much on the number 2 guy on this particular team. So my mindset is who's going to be on, and I'd be honest with you, it's going to be probably surprising for you guys, but I think I'm going to be leaning more so, at least at the moment. I may not feel different later on, about an hour before game time, but right now at this moment, my mindset is I think I will go Russell Westbrook, simply because I think more people are going to. I think just Curry's going to be a little more popular. At $10,003, he's only $300 more expensive than Russell here, but Curry's $9,400 on DK, and Russell at DK for sure is someone I really like at $8,900. I mean, when it was the last time you seen Russell Westbrook under $10,000 or even $9,500? He's usually in the $10,000 range or better. But second fiddle to James Harden will cause that, and that could also lead people to be like, hey, you know what, thinking the same way I am, well, I'm going to go with Westbrook. Okay, so I'm leaning towards Russell Westbrook here, but I like Curry. I will have exposure to Curry because I make multiple lineups. So my thing is, for my audience, I'm thinking more so if you want the guy that I think more than likely is going to be least owned, I would think I would lean towards Westbrook. And Westbrook more so, especially at $8,900, for instance, on DK, you got guys like Trae Young is only like $1,000 or something like that, or $1,500 cheaper. You can look here on Fandeul. I mean, Westbrook is only $1,000 more than Trae Young. So you need to get 45 to meet value for Trae at 9K, and you need 50 from Russell Westbrook in a matchup which is the highest implied total of the night. I think it's like 230. So I'm leaning Westbrook all the way. Okay, so I'm looking at Westbrook. I think Westbrook will be a fine play here. He has had good numbers. Last year, he averaged 58.7 fantasy points per game. I'm going to put him right here and just put him right in there. He finished with 58.7 fantasy points per game last year. In 2 games against Milwaukee, he put up 57.3 average. Again, that was last year. This is this year. Totally different scenario. But again, him and Harden are capable of putting 50 between both of them together every single night that they play. They're capable of it. I mean, we know Russell is a double-double guy. He's capable of getting triple-doubles. He is explosive. Him and Harden, are aggressive. They go to the basket quite a bit. That's going to open up the doors, obviously, to their three-point shooters like Gordon and PJ Tucker, which I'll discuss in a moment. But Westbrook, 50 in the 2 games, 57.3. Didn't shoot particularly well in those games. He only shot 40% from the floor and 37% from 3. But again, like I said before, double-double guy, triple-double guy. He drives to the basket. He gets to the foul line. Great field. He's a pretty decent free throw shooter. Not great, but he's pretty good. I just feel that he's going to be the least popular guy between him and Steph. I will go that route and open up the doors to have a little bit of money to go somewhere else. So Russell Westbrook is my choice at the moment for Fanduel at the guard position if I'm going to pay up for a stud. You could come down here. Shamet, for me, is in play as a low price tag guy who's going to get maybe 15 to 20 minutes, possibly a little bit or more than 20. And he's capable of getting you 15, 16 fantasy points. At 4,000, you need 20. Other than him, I would not go anywhere else. And like I said, the sneaky play here for me will be Eric Bledsoe. At 7,000, you need 35. He's capable of getting you 50. So he is someone you can consider here. Trae Young, 9,000, you need 45. Tough. He could probably get you 45. I just think that I'd rather pay $1,000 more, or even $1,300 more, with the guys that are going to get more usage, more minutes, and more shots. And again, I say that all the time here: usage, minutes, usage, and shots are key in fantasy sports, especially NBA DFS. So let's go over the shooting guard. So I got Russell in there as shooting guard. It was hard for me here as well, but James Harden definitely is in play. There's no doubt about that. But I'm going to go all the way down to Lou Will. I mean, you guys have been here with me the last couple of years. I always praise Lou Will. Lou Williams is definitely someone because at 6,900. Now, granted, Chris Middleton is in play. D'Angelo Russell's in play. James Harden's in play. You're not losing out any one of those guys. It's just a matter of what preference you want to go, which studs you want to play. I think you could get definitely 2 studs in your lineups today and still be able to get a solid lineup. You may even go studs and scrubs because I think there's a couple of guys that are low price value plays that can definitely fit into these lineups and get you possibly a Westbrook, maybe a Lou Will with a D'Angelo Russell, and possibly even throwing in there Giannis. And that's not a bad 4 guys to get started with. But anyway, let me not get off track here. So Lou Will, 6,900. He's 6,700 on DK. You need about 33 to 34 for either one of the 2 sites. I think he's a fine play for either one of the 2 sites. Like Russell Westbrook, I like him in both sites as well. So keep that in mind. It's not only FanDuel. DK at 8,900 for Westbrook, like I mentioned before, is a great play. But Lou Will, he averaged 34.5 fantasy points per game versus Golden State last year. And again, that was last year with Golden State. He still takes tons of shots, gets plenty of usage, and he plays more than enough minutes off the bench. No Klay Thompson is a big. I mean, if he's going to go up and he's going to have D'Angelo Russell defending him, let's say half of the possessions he has the hands on the ball, I will take my chances with Lou Will with D'Angelo Russell way over Klay Thompson. I do believe he's going to put up 40 or better tonight, and especially that he is like the main go-to guy off the bench as far as offense is concerned, with only Kawhi on his own. As far as offense is concerned, I really do like Lou Williams here a whole lot. He didn't shoot particularly well in the games against Golden State last year, and again, like I said, he got quite a bit of Klay Thompson defense, and Klay as well as Draymond Green are probably were the best 2 defenders in the Golden State team last year. But 40% and only 34% from 3. But again, he is in a very good situation here, especially if D'Angelo Russell is going to defend him. Other than that, if you want to pay down here, hey, D'Angelo Russell I do love here as well. I think he's going to be someone you got to consider, especially D'Angelo Russell on DK, who is much cheaper. I like D'Angelo Russell there, but on a sneaky play could be Chris Middleton. James Harden will be very popular at 11,004. I mean, I will have some exposure to him. Like I said, I'm not going to beat around the bush. But you got guys like Derrick Rose here, Wesley Matthews. These are guys that you got to watch out for there, and those are guys that you can look for value. Small forward. Bottom line for me, I'm willing to pay up right here. We're having Lou Will and then just paying down a little bit at guard with Russell Westbrook. I have full intentions to utilize in most of my lineups, and maybe a good 30-40% of my lineups, maybe not most, Giannis. So at 12,002, and then especially on DK, he's only 10,003. You only need 51 on DK to meet value. He's going to get 50-somewhat points in this game. Giannis averaged 57 fantasy points last year, and in 2 games against Houston, he averaged 54. Okay, he averaged 17 rebounds in those games, and he shot 48%. And we know that he's going to need to do all of the work on this team. He's the main guy on the team. He's the main character, let's put it, of the actual Hollywood script here. So Giannis, usage, minutes, shots. He averages 16 to 18 shots a game pretty much on average last year. He's going to take that same amount of shots. And, of course, he gets fired up. He's a big game player. He loves playing these big games against good basketball players. He's going to have to deal with 2 superstars in Houston tonight with Westbrook as well as James Harden. So he's going to be fired up. I do like Giannis here. His minutes were good, 34-plus minutes. He's a great point-per-minute guy. Gets tons of usage, like I said. And on top of that, he takes about 16 to 18 shots again. And like I said, again, fantasy sports, minutes, usage, shots, you definitely need those. But the shots, again, have to go down. If they don't go down, then obviously it ends up being a bad play. Again, he might be a popular guy. If you don't want to go Giannis, no problem. I think Kawhi will be a very quiet. He's going to be low owned. I really do believe Kawhi Leonard is going to be low owned. He is definitely someone to consider. And other than that, you got a couple guys down here like Luke Kennard, who I chose last night in some of my lineups. Great possible play here again tonight at only 4,800. And don't forget about Eric Gordon with his 3-point shooting. That opens up the floor a little bit, especially when Westbrook and Harden that definitely penetrate a lot to the boards. That's what's going to open it up for PJ and for Eric Gordon. So Giannis there at small forward. As a matter of fact, I did not punch him in. Sorry about that. So put him there. This way, at least you see more or less what you have left. At power forward. At power forward for me is PJ Tucker. You either pay up for Draymond Green or not, just come down and just take PJ Tucker. And if you want to be able to find some value here, then you go to Ilyasova. Should come off the bench. And if he hits his shots and he's capable of hitting threes, if he gets hot, he's going to pay his price easily if he plays 15, 16 minutes. Ilyasova. Spillman might spell some relief in the front court for Golden State because they don't have a whole lot of guys up front. But I'm looking at PJ Tucker hands down, 4,400. He's going to be both on my DK and on my. All 4 of these guys right now are penciled in for my DK as a core as well as here on FanDuel. It's just at center I'm going to be slightly different. Okay, so PJ Tucker, 4,400 on Fanduel, 3,900 on DK. Only need 19 on DK, about 22 to meet value here on Fanduel. He averaged 22 fantasy points, as you can see here last year, give or take. In the 2 games against Milwaukee last year, he averaged a little bit more, 24.4 fantasy points per game, but he didn't shoot particularly well at all in those games against Milwaukee. 3 of 18 in those 2 games, 17% from the floor and 20% from 3. I'm still choosing him here because he gets minutes. He does get some shots. I do see where Westbrook and Harden, when they drive to the basket, they're going to get a lot of attention. They're going to get double team, possibly triple team. It's going to open up the wings and open up the floor for these guys to take down shots. So again, I advise you guys, take a good look at Eric Gordon and as well as PJ Tucker. I like that he gets tons of minutes. He gets hot. He's streaky. PJ Tucker at 4,400 is not a bad play. You only need 22. If he gets you 25, 26 or better, and he could possibly even kill it, get you 30 plus, he's going to end up being a very, very fine play. For GPP, for cash, he's perfect. GPP, obviously we need him to get at least 10 more. So, I mean, you're looking at him, he has to get at least 30 to 34 to be a pretty good GPP play, and I think he's capable of doing it, especially if Westbrook and Harden really drive to the basket hard today. And those guys love to go to the basket because they like getting those free throw shots, and they get fouled quite often. Not only that, especially Harden, he's a good free throw shooter. Westbrook is a little bit, he could be a little bit off in some nights, but they get to the line a lot. They're going to be able to score a lot of points from the foul line. That's going to open up the doors for these guys to hit those threes. So PJ Tucker for me is in play. All right, at center, I love Drummond again. Again, he's on a front end of a back-to-back. He played last night. He played 40 minutes last night, so that's a lot of minutes. There's no doubt about it. But he put up 81.5. Some people are going to probably be jumping. So it's a matter of are people going to jump on Andrew Drummond today and it's going to be more popular today at center? Or people are going to be like, hey, you know what? He's probably not going to play 40 minutes. He's on a front end of a back-to-back. He could be tired. He also had to, travel. Those things come into play. I mean, the matchup is just too good. Alex Lynn, he fouls like crazy. He's always in foul trouble. They really don't have anybody. Dwayne Dedmon is not there anymore. Dedmon was a dead man for me last night. He did not play particularly well. I had him in about 40% of my DK and some of my Fanduel lineups. But I say here you could go Drummond in this lineup, but he on Fanduel, I have to definitely go to Kevon Looney. I think I'm going to go with Looney here at the moment. But again, Andrew Drummond, definitely a fine play. I will have exposure to him on Fanduel because I feel that I could get him in here and still get value at the power forward and the small forward spot as far as getting someone cheaper so I can plug him in. On DK, hands down, he's the best player at DK. He's only 8,300 on DK. I mean, give me Drummond all day against Lynn and those guys in Atlanta in a paced-up game. I'll take Drummond any day. I mean, last year against Atlanta, just to give you some numbers, he averaged 55 fantasy points per game, 20 points per game from the floor, 15.5 rebounds from the floor, and 3 blocks averaged in those games against him. I mean, he shot 62%. It's not going to be any different with no Dwayne Dedmon, who is a better defender than Lynn. Lynn, pretty much getting into foul trouble often. I do like the matchup a whole lot for Andrew Drummond. Even if he plays 30 minutes and he gets you 45, 50, at that price tag, especially on DK with 8,300, only needing 41 or so, yeah, you could sign me up for Drummond any day. But on DK, on Fanduel, a little different. You can slap him in here. I don't see no reason why not. But then you're going to have to find some true value. So I would say here you go with Looney. Okay, if I can find him. Yeah, Looney right here. He's 6,400. It's a little pricey, but we know that he's going to get the minutes. Remember, Looney last year averaged 17 fantasy points per game. He only played on average about 19 minutes. But he's a good point-per-minute player. He is close to a good point-per-minute player at that average of being close to 18 fantasy points in 19 minutes. I would say that's pretty close. He's going to get 25 to 26 minutes. If he can get 26 to 30 minutes, there's a good chance he'll be able to pay this price. At 3,400, but you can go cheaper here on Fanduel, and you can go with a Brook Lopez, who's going to probably more than likely get 25 to 30 minutes, or you can even go down and get really cheap and go and get his brother coming off the bench to relieve Brook and Robin Lopez. At 3,700, you only need 16, 17 fantasy points, and he is capable of getting that done in a point-per-minute basis. If you play 17 to 20 minutes coming off the bench, Robin Lopez can get you that. So you could go even cheaper here, but I'd go Looney here just simply because they're going to need him up front. Okay, they have nobody really else other than Spellman coming off the bench, and then Draymond could always play center if they want to go real small, but you figure he's going to start the game at center if he doesn't get into foul trouble and he's coming off and he's doing well with rebounding and getting some defensive steals and blocks. Looney will be in this game, and he can definitely turn it up and put us in a point where he can get close to that 30, 31, 32 fantasy points that you need to pay off that $6,400 price tag. He is 5,100 on DK, so you only need 25 fantasy points there. I think he could definitely do that there for you. But again, there are options. You can go Brook for 5,800. You'll save 600 here on FanDuel. You can go down to Zubac if you want to. I would go all the way down. And I think I will have exposure to Robin Lopez. Because I'm sure, because I know for a fact Brook is not going to play the entire game. So Robin Lopez is going to get some time. It's a matter of how many minutes he's going to get. And that's pretty much it, man, guys. That's what I'm looking at right now. Anything can change from here to then, but 3-game slate, everybody's available. A lot of studs. You could go studs and scrubs here. I already looked at it, and I could see where I can make a lineup. I do multiple lineups. It's totally different. But these are the 5 guys I'm looking at. I'm looking at these 5 for today. And, Looney, Tucker, Giannis, Lou Will, and Russell Westbrook. Again, a lot of guys are in play, like I said. So, again, just decide which way you want to go. It's all a matter of which way you want to go. You could go a lot of different ways. But I think these guys are solid plays here, and I think there's a number of other solid plays. So it's tough for me to tell you don't choose anybody else. But I think that if you take 4 or 5 of these guys, or 3 out of the 4 or 5, if you wish, I think that you're gonna have a good little core to start with. All right, guys. I wish you guys a lot of luck, man. Again, drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to like, comment down below for that giveaway on Sunday for the 1 week of getting one lineup either for FanDuel or DK. And other than that, that's pretty much it, man. I wish everybody a lot of luck. Let's make this money. I'll see you guys tomorrow.